morning, church. Grace and peace always be with each of you. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Rodrigo. I am from Bolivia. This is my wife, Emily, and my daughter, Hannah. I don't know what it is. Oh, hello, Hannah. And my parents-in-law, Jeff and Karen. They are Australian. Firstly, we went to thank God for each one of you for your prayers, message, and encouragement in the different circumstances we've been through during this time in Melbourne. Something we have in common as a family is we like visiting different places, getting to know cultures, and enjoying a variety of foods in Bolivia and Australia. As a family, we have been working as missionaries in Bolivia for 6 years. We work in a village called Yotala, where we live and do missions for the glory of God.
All right, so we are working in Bolivia, in Yotala. As Rodrigo said, there's a few stats up there on the screen. And kids, there will be a quiz at the end, by the way, so make sure you're listening into some of the details we've got this morning for you. So Yotala is a reasonably small town of 9,000 people. It is in the almost the middle of Bolivia. It's the little green bit that you can see in the middle there that's got the arrow pointing to it. It's a place that is very closed spiritually. Even only 10 years ago, when missionaries would go in, they were getting chased out with rocks. So it's a place where it's only very recently people are even being tolerant to having a Christian presence in their town. There's not many Christians there at all. I would say about 2 or 3 that we know of in the town. It's very, very strongly Catholic. So there is a very strong Catholic church presence there, but it's Catholicism mixed with syncretism, and so there's a lot of open idol worship. You'll see on certain days in the streets, people will set up altars to different saints and march them through the town. There'll be lots of parties and open sacrifices being made on the streets to the Mother Earth, which is one of their big things. People going on certain days of the week to pray at the grave of a lady who was brutally murdered in their town. And so there's just lots of idol worship, lots of paganism in this town, Yotala. There's no established evangelical church. We are working with a small church plant that's very new and fragile still. So there are works starting there, but there's nothing established yet. It's a very poor place. Bolivia is the poorest country in South America, and in Yotala, the poverty is just worse because it's in the country. It's not in one of the city bases. So parents work long hours just to provide for their families. People live day to day on what they can, and illiteracy rates are very high as well, because a lot of kids, especially girls, won't finish school because they need to work or stay home and look after their siblings there. So that's a little bit about Yotala.
Okay. Our Hub Center Yotala, or in Spanish, Centro de Apoyo Yotala. We run a health center for children and teenagers, a social and evangelistic work together with a small church plant. We also collaborate with the church plant with teaching, worship ministry, and Sunday school ministry.
So we've got a short video to show you, just to introduce.
Watch the video.
Thanks, Rod. So the vision and the mission of our centre is going to appear on the screen in a moment. I don't have it in my notes, so I need to actually read it off the screen to be able to tell you what it is. There it is. So our vision is to reach children and families in the community of Yotala that they may be transformed by Jesus Christ. And our mission is to work as a team to preach the gospel and provide holistic support to children and teenagers in the community of Yotala. So our whole aim in running this centre is to reach people for Christ. We've decided to be a bit strategic about the way that we do that because Yotala is so closed. And so going and trying to do evangelism or discipleship with the adults has not been very successful in the past because they are so closed off. So we decided to work with kids because the kids don't have a lot to do and they're basically our in. So doing homework help, school assistance, things like that gets them along and gives us a relationship with their parents to then be able to share the gospel with the entire family.
Agenda, we believe that God cares about the entire life of children and young people. So we towards the development of every area of their lives. Firstly and most importantly in the spiritual aspect through evangelism and devotionals. Next, the cognitive development through help with schooling and homework. We also help physically and emotionally through nutrition and playtime.
All right, so we're going to get the kids up now. We might actually get the kids all to come down the front if we can. We're going to play a little game. We're not going to make you do anything embarrassing or awkward, so come on down the front. So we'll get you all to stand in the middle. Thank you. Got a lot of kids this morning, that's good. All right, so this is a guessing game. So I've got some questions here and I will ask the question and give you two options, okay, for the answer. So if you think it is the first option, you're going to walk towards the right-hand side of the church or your left. And if you think it is option B, you'll go over to this side where the communion table is. Okay? Easy? All right. First question. How many kids do you think we had enrolled last year? 35 or 50? If you think it's 35, come over to this side. If you think it's 50, head over here. You got to pick. You're not supposed to really know the answers. All right, gone about half-half. The answer was 35. So you guys, I'm going to ask you to take a seat, have a seat at the back tables. And we'll get this group to come back in the middle again. All right, what do you think is the kids' favourite afternoon tea? Bickies or watermelon? Those of you that think it's Bickies, come on this side. Those of you that think watermelon, let's go down this side. All right, the answer is watermelon. Very good, guys. Well done. All right, all come back in the middle again. We're going to ask that you don't all go to the same side this time. All right. From what grade do you think schools give homework to the kids? From when they're in kindergarten or from when they're in grade 3? Those who think kindergarten, come over here. Grade 3, go over here. The answer is kindergarten. Well done, girls. You guys can take a seat at the back. All right, this is our last question, so I need one of you to go to either side so that we actually have a winner in the end, all right? What is the most popular game for the kids? Uno or Ludo? Uno this side, Ludo that side. Do you need it? We need to make a decision. Who got there first? All right. I said Uno this side, didn't I? Uno is correct. Zoe. Well done. I've got a prize for you, Zoe. All right, you guys can head to the back, and Steph's got an activity for you to continue, but make sure you keep listening to us as well, because there will be a pop quiz at the end, and I may have prizes for that too. All right. So, one of the things we do, which is kind of our hook to get people into our centre, is homework help, which you can see up on the screen. The schools do give a lot of homework, even from kindergarten. The kids are coming home with heaps of homework, and it just gets more and more as they go on. And the schooling in the village is not of as high a quality as it would be in the city. And a lot of kids tend to get left behind. So, go with Nana. A lot of kids tend to get left behind in their schooling because the teachers will just continue progressing with the material even if the kids haven't necessarily understood it. So we end up having kids in our centre come along who are in grade 4 or 5, and they're trying to be taught to do long division, but they haven't actually learned how to do subtraction, and they haven't learned how to do, haven't learned their timetables. And trying to do long division when you don't know how to do your times tables, for one, is very difficult. And when you can't do simple addition and subtraction, it's a very big challenge. So part of our job is to kind of go back and lay the foundations for them again and pick up on what they've missed in the earlier years. We had one girl, her name was Jocelyn, and she came to the centre when we first opened. She had been abandoned by both her parents, so her parents were split up, and her mum had remarried, and her new husband didn't want her around. So her mum and her new husband had left and gone to another city and left her with her elderly grandmother, who was in very poor health and just generally not equipped to take care of a small child at all. And so she came to our centre and at first was very reluctant to join in. I think her grandma made her come. I don't think she really even wanted to be there. But she came and she just didn't want to do her homework, didn't understand it, and really struggled with school, socially as well, very shy little girl. And I sat down with her and tried to help her with her homework one day, and I realised that she couldn't actually read. So she was in grade 2. And so I started just going through the alphabet with her, and she didn't even know her alphabet. And she'd managed to get to grade 2 in school without knowing her alphabet. So, of course she didn't want to do her homework because she couldn't read the instructions on it, telling her what to do. So I spent a lot of time with her just teaching her how to read, going through the syllables, the alphabet, teaching her that. And her level of confidence grew so much just from that basic skill that no one had actually taken the time to teach her how to do. And so she would start coming along. She was a lot more willing to do her homework and to be taught other things after she'd learnt that basic thing of just what is the alphabet, how do I sound out words and read. And she progressed a huge amount in her schoolwork, socially, and just in her interactions with us and with me especially. It was really lovely to see someone who at the first didn't want to talk to you, didn't even really want to be there, start coming and smiling and be excited to be around us and excited to hear the Bible stories that we would teach as well. And that's just one example of many that we've seen in the centre.
Pastor's devotionals. Yeah. We believe that God sends us to preach the gospel according to the Great Commission. And this is one of the most important ways we want to see God work in the students. We create Christ-centered messages with the aim to always teach the message of salvation. We do this on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays.
So the third aspect of what we do is we give the kids an afternoon tea or a lunch. A lot of the kids that we work with suffer from malnutrition, not because they don't eat enough, but just simply because their diet is mostly carbs, potatoes, rice, pasta, sometimes quinoa. That's that's pretty much all they eat. They don't get a lot of meat, they don't get a lot of protein or vegetable or fruit content because that's what costs more to buy, so the parents can't afford to give them those kind of things. And we learnt last year, we did a quick survey and we found that 25% of our kids weren't actually eating lunch before they came to the program. And so we decided to start giving them lunch one day a week as an option for those kids that needed it. And that was so well received and they were so grateful. And I mean, they work a lot better when they've got a full stomach as well. They're actually able to concentrate and things. So that's something that we're hoping to continue. If we can get enough volunteers and people on the ground to actually do the cooking for us, that's something that we're wanting to do every day that we're open into the future.
The recreation. Yeah. I think this part of our program is what helps the kids socially to have new friendships. At the beginning, they resolve difference with anger, insults and violence, but seeing the change in the 2 years, we've been open. They can now communicate better and everyone is included. We get to laugh and play with them and show them God's love. Many of our students don't really have the chance to be kids since they have responsibilities from a young age.
So we're going to show another video now. We thought we'd let you hear from some of our kids themselves about what their lives are like and what they think of our centre.
Isaac Ezequiel Fernández Cervantes.
Yo me llamo Jacqueline Lorena Nina Quispe, tengo 11 años. Me llamo Clara Evangelina Mantilla Pasa, tengo 10 años.
Me llamo Marco Antonio Rivera Torres, tengo 10 años.
Hola, soy Wilson Cervantes Yankee y tengo 8 años y vivo en Bolivia.
Me llamo Natalie Pinto Calderón y tengo 9 años.
Me llamo Carlos y yo estoy bien. ¿Estás?
Yo me llamo Gracie Fernández Cervantes y tengo 7. Vivo con mis papás y mis hermanos. Mi mamá algunas veces se va a trabajar, mi papá siempre va a trabajar, yo me quedo con mis hermanitos y yo les cuido y algunas veces hacemos juntos las tareas, nos ayudamos todos juntos. Algunas veces yo estoy solitas y dejan hacer las tareas y mis papás estamos trabajando.
Yo vivo con mi papá, mamá y mi hermano. Y mi papá me cuida a mi mamá. Y de las 10 a las 8 de la noche.
Mi mamá trabaja en un lugar que se llama Adelita. Mi hermana va a la escuela y después llega a mi casa y le ayudamos a hacer las cosas de lo que nos dicen mi mamá. Y pues de lo que terminamos, vemos un rato tele y después cuando se hace de noche hacemos comida y después ahí nos dormimos y mi mamá llega a las 11 de la noche.
Mi mamá y mi papá, mis hermanos también. Y a veces mi papá y mi mamá se pelean. A veces
y ya no se pelean tanto. Ahora se cuidan, y ya no se pelean. Mi mamá trabaja de cocinera, mi papá va a trabajar y yo voy a mis clases. Vengo al centro, hago mi tarea, todas estas cosas.
Mi papá y mi mamá y mis hermanos. No, mi gato nomás. A mis hermanos menores y a mis hermanas chiquititas les cuido porque mi mamá me dice, anda a cuidarles o si no, no te voy a dar. No vas a hacer tu tarea y no vas a ir a la escuela. Igual que no importa, la profe te va a reñir. Así me dice algunas veces. Después me dice, anda a hacer tu tareita y me ayuda mi padre. Y después me retiro a mi cama y me voy a dormir nomás en mi camita con mi gato.
Mi mamá y mi papá me ayudan.
Algunas veces mi hermana, algunas veces creo que solo.
Mi hermana, y ella a veces me ayuda. Me ayuda a mis hermanas, yo les hago o mi mamá. Estudiar, jugar, aprender.
Me gusta lo que hablan de la palabra de Dios y también jugar el juego de uno y también el Bolivia. Me gusta cómo me enseñan los juegos, cómo oramos.
Me gusta lo que hace enseñar las tareas, lo que juegan, lo que dan a los refrigerios.
Los juegos que juegan del uno, voleibol y la palabra de Dios. Y me gusta hacer la tarea. Me gusta hacer mis tareas, como me ayudan, como me tratan a ser feliz, como me hacen jugar.
So along with working with primary students, we also started working with secondary last year. We really saw the need for something for teenagers as well. They don't really have a lot to do in a small town village, so they get very bored, and rates of teen pregnancy are very high. There's lots of partying going on from a very young age. So we opened for teens as well, and the aims for that is discipleship and evangelism built through trusted relationships. So we do a program that's a bit less structured, but with the same kind of elements to it. And that's something that we are really hoping to get going more into the future as well. So that's just our timeline for what we do with our primary kids on a daily basis. And then our secondary one is up there too. Yeah. So into the future, we're looking at going back at the end of the year, God willing. We have a few things that we're looking to do when we do go back. We want to continue doing discipleship, especially more one-on-one discipleship with teenagers. I've got a bit of a relationship with a couple of young girls, one of whom had a baby last year at 14 years old that I was journeying quite closely with her. And with her sister, so we're hoping to do a lot more discipleship, me with the girls and Rodrigo with the teenage boys as we go back. We're also looking for opportunities to raise up new leaders. There's quite a lot of people in the city that are interested in missions and this kind of work, local Bolivians, but they just don't know how to actually get there. They don't have anyone to equip them or help them to actually get experience, get training, and be sent. So we're looking at ways, together with the local church, of how we can do that and help to raise up new leaders and reach families, doing workshops with the parents, with the mums, on various things, activities with them, to not just reach the kids in our centre, but reach the entire family. And the last thing that we're looking for is also a new space. So where we are at the moment is actually in the church building of the church plant, but they only have one kind of long open space that they use for their temple, their storage, their office, our children's centre and everything. So all of our stuff is kind of piled up in one corner, and then when we need it, we put all the pews away and get everything out and put it back again, and that's every single day. So we really are looking for a new space where we can have a lounge type area for the secondary students and also a classroom type area for the primary kids when they need to do their homework and get a bit more structured help. So we're looking at that and praying for a new space, whether that's renting somewhere in the town or whether it's getting funding to be able to buy a property and build something. But yeah, those are things that we are looking to do as we go back.
Missionary project. Encourage missions is the points. The first point is the Great Commission is not just for a select few. It's for everyone, no matter age, life stage, economic position. The next, this is what God is doing in the world, bringing our peoples to worship Him.
So we'd love to encourage you guys to think about and consider, how can you be a part of God's mission here and overseas? This is what God is doing in the world and has been doing from the beginning, right from when He created. The whole idea was for everyone to glorify Him and to worship Him, and that is what He's been doing through the creation of Israel, the nation, and through Jesus, and through the church as well. And that's still our mission, our goal, our aim of being here on earth. The whole point is this, is to make disciples of all nations. So how can you be part of that? In terms of overseas, we've got 3 things up there: pray, give, and go. Pray. That's one thing that everyone can do wherever you are at any time in the day. Pray for the nations. Pray for God's word to be sown. Pray for more workers to go out. Pray for people to come to know Jesus and for all the nations to glorify and worship Him. Give. There's always a need for financial giving, especially at the moment where the economy is difficult, not just in Australia, in Bolivia as well. They're doing it tough, and a lot of other parts of the world. If you have the ability to give, even if you think it's a tiny amount that won't make a difference, it does. It makes a big difference. For us at the moment, our financial support, in order to go back, we're only at 56% of what we need in terms of funding to be able to go back at the end of the year. And so we're praying for God to provide people that can give on a monthly basis, on an ongoing basis, even if it's just a little bit. There's always people and organisations and groups that need financing to be able to do this. So if that's something that you're interested in, come chat to us at the end. That would be great. And the other one is to go. I know a lot of you probably think there's no way I can go overseas right now. Maybe for some of you that's true, but maybe for some of you it's something you just never thought about or considered. The truth is that we need more workers, and Belinda shared last week, she's not here so I can't ask her to remind me what the stat was, but I think it was it 19% of the world that's in non-reached places where there is no one there that can actually bring the gospel to them. And 1% of missionaries or something that go to those places. So there's so much need, there's so much, and even Yotala, in all the statistics that you read about missions, that would be classified as reached because of the Catholic presence in the town. But when you actually go there, It's not, not even close. So there's a lot of need for people to go. So consider it, pray about it, ask God, is this maybe what you would have me do? And then here as well, Australia is becoming less and less Christian by the day. There's a big need here. I think the last census said that less than 21% of Australians identified as Protestant and less than 8% of that was evangelical. And we've got mates that do street ministry and cold contact evangelism, and they reckon the number of people that actually are saved and understand the gospel is closer to 3% based on their 20 years of experience. So there's a big need here as well. Where in your life can you make disciples? I know a lot of our congregation is living in communities, assisted living communities. What a great place to get involved and speak to your neighbours. There's so many activities that go on in those communities to get out there and talk to people that are probably actually at a life stage where they're thinking about what's going to happen when they pass away. So take the opportunity and evangelize and disciple these people that may be in a good place to be asking these questions. Let's make missions our central focus. This is not something that should be a little extra that we do on the side when we've got spare time or spare money or we're bored, so we'll sit down and pray. This needs to be at the center of everything that we do. Every decision that we make needs to be about this. How can we glorify God and help others to glorify Him as well? So we've got a few prayer points up on the screen just for us, as how you can be praying for us and supporting us in this season. For the team in Bolivia, we've got a team of volunteers that are carrying on the ministry while we're here. But they are very limited in what they can do, just in terms of the resources, the personnel that they have. And so they're kind of just keeping things ticking over rather than being able to actually move things forward and keep developing the ministry. For more workers, we always need more people, always need more volunteers at our centre. And for every kid that comes through those doors, we really want them to know the love of Jesus, to experience it, to hear about it, and to be saved, and to see them transformed, and to see their entire families and that whole community transformed for Christ. That's what we're about. That's what we're working towards. So you can be praying for us in those areas. And one thing that's not up there would be, the financial need that we have. We do need to get back as soon as we can. And we do have quite a large shortfall in terms of our finances. So please pray for people to come on board, for God to move hearts, and to help us out that way so that we can go and keep on doing this, keep doing what we're doing.